You've had a couple of good A-Day games, and I think statistically at least, and you've had the experience of being out there. Is this one a little different than the position you're in now?
Well, absolutely. I'm running a whole different deal for myself right now. I'm not necessarily competing for the backup position. I'm more competing for the starting position. So it's a different approach for me. I think as far as playing the game itself, I'm still playing with the majority of the guys I've been playing with, obviously, because we've replaced a lot of guys on the offense. So, last year we played with William and all those other guys. So I'm used to and comfortable playing with those guys. And I'm looking forward to doing it again like we have in the years past.
What have you seen from our church this spring? And he's obviously injured in health and conduct. But has he been able to do anything? Has he been able to improve that?
Well, absolutely. Roy's a very productive player. He understands what our offensive goals are. He knows the offense very well. Very seldom does he have a mental error or a bust. So, although he hasn't been able to go 100% physically this spring, he's shown a lot mentally, and he's helped a lot in allowing the other running backs to get ahead of the curve and explain to them their role and their function, both within the offense and outside the field as well. He's been a good leader, and we're thankful to have Roy, and we're looking forward to getting him back full speed.
Has it been impressive? He seemed to have a pretty upbeat attitude after what he's been through now, when he might have a chance to start, then after getting hurt at his freshman year and everything. Have you been impressed by his attitude?
Roy's demeanor is second to none. He's a team-first guy. He's a good personality to have in the locker room. He's friendly. He's really just a pleasure to have on our side of the ball. So, one thing I will say about Roy is he's had a lot of bad luck since he's been here. I think he's ready, this being his senior year, to go out with a bang and leave a legacy of his own. And I think he's set himself up well in the off-season workouts he's had and the rehab work that he's done with his neck. That he'll be back full speed and ready to turn some heads next year.
Coach Saban hasn't named a starter, not going to name a starter for a while, but you being with the ones in the A-Day games, is that an indication to you that things are going the way you want them to go, or the way you think they need to go for you?
Well, I think as far as I'm concerned, I think the fact that we've had 14 practices up to this point, I think Coach Saban still needs to see a lot more from all the players involved in the competition. I feel good about where I stand, as I stated previously. I think that I've had a very good spring up to this point. I've done the things I wanted to do, and there's only one more opportunity to go out and improve, and I want to make the most of it on Saturday. And I'm thankful to have the opportunity to go out in front of all our fans and hopefully have a big crowd and put on a show.
Being that it's presumably a big crowd, TV, one versus one, is that weigh a little more heavily, you think, on how, when you're comparing how people perform, being that the lights are on, so to speak?
Well, when you have fans in the stands, it's obviously a whole different game. Everyone can perform on Monday through Friday, but can you do it on Saturday? We yet to find out. The young guys it'll be their first time to go out in front of a big crowd, on national television, and some of us veterans, we're going to try to help those guys kind of along and calm them down a little bit and understand that we're just out there executing. That's all it is. And the fans are great, and we love having them out there, but all it is for us is another practice and another opportunity to improve and sharpen up the things we want to get done.
How many times have you had state the last 2 years?
I'm 0 for 2 in A-Day games. But I'm looking forward to a possible victory this year. Beans and weenies aren't bad. Contrary to popular belief, they're pretty good, but I'd rather have steak.
Have you heard anything yet from the white team members, or do you anticipate, is there any kind of smack talking or whatever between offense and defense and something like this?
Well, keep in mind, we've been going against the same guys for 14 days now. Some tempers are flaring, some smack talk is going on just to keep things interesting. You get a little tired of lined up against the same guys every day, so you got to do something to keep it interesting. And the defensive way of doing that is talking a little smack and trying to get inside my head. They haven't been effective, though. Set the record straight.
So how's the competition for positions been this off-season?
It's been brutal. It's been, we obviously have a lot of holes to fill. There's a lot of, very capable players that are competing for those holes. So I'd say that as far as competition is concerned, it's been pretty intense, and I think that a lot of the guys, although, we're all vying for the same positions, the difference I will say about this year's team is that guys are willing to help other guys. We want to see the team be more successful than individuals. You know, and people just care about the success and what's best for the offense or the defense. And I think that that's a little different from years past. And I'm glad to see that that's the direction that this team's heading. And I think that'll lead to a lot of victories and success over the years to come.
Greg, Coach Saban was asked today to name surprise players on both sides of the ball, maybe to pick out a couple. And for defense, he said Robbie Green. For offense, he said you. And he said that, you know, that might surprise a lot of people, but it didn't surprise me. What do you make of that? Do you think you've had something to prove in going into this spring?
Well, I mean,
maybe you've proved it.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what I've proven. I know that I haven't played on a Saturday yet. I know I haven't started a game yet. I know I haven't, you know, really done anything up to this point that's proven myself. All I've done is prove myself to my teammates and my coaching staff, and all I can ask for is just continuous improvement. As far as being a surprise player, I don't really have a comment on that. I think that it's nice to hear that Coach Saban speaks fondly of me, and obviously that that doesn't happen often, so I'm glad to hear it. And, but Coach Saban, and one thing I will say, Robbie Green's had a tremendous spring. He really, really looks the part out there. He's playing well, playing fast, and he's got a great understanding of what Coach Saban and the defense want him to do.
How has he improved?
Robbie?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he comes from a very good high school. You know, I believe it was John Curtis. And, you know, he's been well coached up to this point. His skills are refined. He's a very, very intelligent football player. He's put on weight, so he's become a lot more physical. He positions himself accordingly, and he really makes things difficult as a quarterback. You know, when you're looking down the field, you see him, and you're trying to key him one way when you're trying to go the other way. He makes things really difficult because just the way he positions himself relative to the receivers and the quarterback's eyes. He can play a lot of games with your head. He's not all that unlike Rashad. He plays very smart. He's got great closing speed, and I think that safety is a really great fit for him. Not that my opinion really matters, but I'm glad that we don't have to play him next year. So I guess that's something good to say about Robbie.
You mentioned the program he came from in high school. As a guy who came from a top-flight program in Texas, do you feel like your prep experience has helped you in the transition to college?
Well, absolutely. Anytime you play for a competitive high school, a school that puts fans in the stands every Friday, a school that's competing for championships, it obviously readies you for this level and for the next level. You see guys like Matt Stafford, he played in similar type of atmosphere as I did, and he came in as a true freshman and was able to succeed and play well for the last couple of years. I think that just as far as the speed of the game is concerned, I think that it increases the learning curve. It helps you out a little bit as you come in. I'd say as far as reading defenses, though, obviously nothing can compare to that of an SEC defense. But I think playing at a big high school program where there's high and lofty expectations makes it a lot easier coming to a program like Alabama, where obviously the expectations are through the roof, and both by the fans and by the team. So